This is what Gray Zone Warfare feels like after the update. Slower, cleaner, and for once, the AI isn't completely losing its mind. Yeah, that's new. Because not that long ago, this game had some pretty big issues. AI that either stared at walls or turned into John Wick with a 360 no-scope. Performance that could also tank out of nowhere. And mechanics that just felt really off and unnatural. Now, the devs dropped a massive update, claiming to fix most of that. So I spent time with it to see what actually changed, what's generally better, and what still needs some work. Because it's still early access after all, which if you're familiar with the channel, it's kind of what we do. Let's start with the good, because this update actually fixes some pretty major problems and core issues. But yeah, we'll get to what's still broken in a second after that. Get around about 100 FPS when I play on average, even with high settings. The devs specifically wanted to target and heard that the game needed to be optimized for lower end machines, and they have delivered just that. Making lower end systems or those with limited RAM, 16 or less, able to run the game with smooth performance. Aside from that, there's almost no wasted time with loading into the game, getting into the server, and just playing the game. Overall, from hitting play in Steam to actually getting game, messing with my guns and everything else, takes a total of 3 minutes compared to other games where it takes 3 minutes just for the game to boot up and then 12 minutes to load into a raid. Now, the new change to the task system is a huge improvement. It's easier to organize and complete tasks while natively pushing you out into the deeper areas of La Main. Granted, like the AI there's a flip here with the quests being repeatable. I'm not a big fan of the quests being repeatable, especially the story quests. It actually kind of makes it a little bit hard to figure out which one you're supposed to actually do next, since they all become repeatable, especially if you end up dying. You have to re-accept everything and start all the way over, and it just kind of gets confusing, especially when you have a massive list of 100 plus quests. Now, the visual and audio aspect is out of this world immersive, way better than it was in 0.1, where it was just super noisy with the crickets and everything else, like the bugs. You have other natural sounds in there, and it changes from area, and it just feels a lot more natural and immersive. Nothing than obviously the visuals. It's a beautiful looking game. You got the sunsets, the sunrises, and everything, the night sky. If you are crouching or walking through La Main, it feels like you're in a movie, if not in real life. Now, one cool thing with this update is that there are in-world puzzles that feel natural to the area that they're in, and actually lead to some really good loot. These are fun little POIs to help the game feel lived in and fun when you stumble upon them. Won't get too much into them because I don't want to spoil any of the fun that could come about it, but just know that there's some out there. Go looking and let me know what you find down below. On the flip though, what can I say bad about this game, or what still needs some more polish? And there's a few things with the expectation that this is early access, and that's one of the cons. I want to tell people that this is still early access, so if you're expecting a fully polished game, it's not there yet. Moving on to that, we also got the TTK, which is kind of up and down, and that's specifically almost intentional at the moment with how they do the health system. You know how in like Tarkov you can go down with a single bullet? In this game, you feel like you're hitting like a bullet sponge. It absorbs every single bullet that you fire at it. Well, that's likely because the game focuses on internal damage. Think of your heart, your lungs, your brain even, if you got one of those, which leaves space such as the neck to tank shots way more than you would expect. Get shot in the neck in this game currently, because it's not like a vital organ, keyword there being organ, you're gonna be able to tank a few shots. Obviously, this will need some balancing and some polishing here. Again, early access. But that's just kind of how it works at the moment, because like I said, most of it's gonna be focused on internal damage. That's why you can repair your lungs or your heart after taking certain stims. So that's just something to be expected on. So kind of aim high or aim for the hearts. You can hit one of those vitals, then your target's going down pretty quickly. Now, the world is not fully live yet. There's no neutral factions, so everything that moves is kill except teammates. Sometimes you have to find X person, that's a dead body. If you have to go and talk to somebody, that's a dead body. And that's just kind of how it works. I'm hoping that they add some kind of neutral faction, kind of like how Lightkeeper does in Tarkov, that you can actually talk and like interact with, just to kind of make it feel more alive. Because right now everyone's an enemy or very few are friends. Another weird twist that I've been seeing a lot of people talk about on Reddit and elsewhere is that PvP and PvE share loot, levels, and basically everything else. Now that's a sore spot for a lot of those that are strictly PvP, since people can fly through the progression in PvE and then dunk on PvP players that actually have to fight tooth and nail for the loot sometimes. So hopefully that gets adjusted and they have it more separated, much like how Tarkov does it. Now moving on to another PvP pain point, it's still hella easy to camp a heli LZ, no pun intended. Now even with the 5-second immunity that you get with getting on or getting off the helicopters, you still can easily get capped. People can count to 5 in most cases and then just light you up from a good distance. And with all the LZs being basically known and static, it kind of makes that easy to camp. Good ideas, maybe rotating LZs, that might be a solution. I don't know how you would actually code that or how hard that would be. It would definitely solve the problem because then you wouldn't know when the LZ would be active. So maybe LZ is only going to be at, your cops. The AI is kind of slow. Better than they were before, mind you. Much better than they were before, I think. But at the same time, not as good as they were before. This weird little mix right now that we're at. Now they can be shot at, and then they can just kind of stand there and open. And if you shoot them in the leg, they'll fall over or be like stunned for a minute, and then they start trying to lift the gun back up to shoot back. They don't find cover. They don't even shoot back at times. It's kind of weird. Like if you're far enough, they just can't see you. So they'll just take the hits out in the open, confused until they die. So that's kind of weird and kind of breaks the immersion there, because you would figure that most people that are getting shot at would be running to cover or at least suppressing fire in the direction that they're getting shot from. Even if they did suppress the fire, that would be cool. So there's gotta be a little bit more balance in the middle. I do like the new interactions they have, so that way you can actually tell when they got hit. If you shot them in the leg, you shot them in the arm, you actually visually see it. Especially helpful if you're sniping. I want them to find cover, run into or peek corners or stuff like that. Now, if this ever reaches the devs, super cool idea. Nice little nugget there to top it off before I give my final thoughts on the game so far as it is have random events such as like an NPC convoy coming out from the middle zone or the bay or the midnight club or any of the like big areas. Have a convoy coming out that you can attack. Any faction can attack. It's like a neutral convoy of the NPCs that you can attack, and then you have to fight the other factions for the loot inside the convoy. Some high-end loot, let's say some cool guns, some cool gun skin, whatever it might be. Maybe a plane even crashes and has high tier loot for X amount of time before being burned away in the flames that you can encounter or see on the map. Just all of a sudden a random event, plane crash in zone XYZ. Go there and people fighting for that, and you only got 15 minutes before all the loot goes up in flames. Or the plane explodes and everything's gone. This is a cool idea. Would I recommend Gray Zone Warfare to you? Oh, that depends on a few things. First off, are you going to be okay with a game that's in early access? That's the key part here. If you're not, well, hey, you already got your answer. If you are, well, good, because it's in early access, but the devs are really listening to the community and player base in a way that's not just completely doing everything they say, but still keeping their vision. So there's a lot that they are doing that the community has wanted, such as the performance, as the AI changes, as the basically just how everything works so far in the game, the task management, everything like that. They're listening. They're listening really hard, and they really want this game to succeed. Compared to where this was when it first launched 2 years ago, way better. Now, so if you cleared step 1, then go to step 2. Okay, well, I don't mind the game being in early access. Do you want a immersive experience that isn't super hardcore like Tarkov, but still has an elaborate health system and weapon system that you can actually dive into. It has a little bit of meat on the bones there. Then yes, if that gets too complicated for you and you just want to hit the heal button with one thing, you don't want to have to worry about bleeds, don't want to have to worry about putting on a leg or arm, or I guess in this case a heart or lung, then okay, maybe something a little more simple might be better for you. If you made it past step 2, step 3, you want to fight as a badass in the jungle, uncovering the story and history of La Ming while trying to bring some kind of order back in this basic hellhole that we have found ourselves in. If you answered yes to all 3, guys, you got your answer right there. But all jokes aside, I definitely currently recommend Gray Zone Warfare to most of my friends, and I've actually gotten a few to actually jump into La Ming with me. Now, I do understand it's not for everybody, and I might ramble a little bit here, and I do apologize, and I'll try and fix that in editing, but it's a really good game, very immersive, and with the way they got the heal system now, it's even easier to use than it was prior. So, when it first came out, very complicated, but they even got a tutorial that tells you how to do everything. So, very intuitive in a way, or I would say very intuitive compared to how it was before. That getting into it, even after coming back after like 2 patches, is pretty easy to do. I definitely recommend those that have taken a break because of waiting for updates to jump back in. It's fun. Now, you're gonna run out of stuff to do more than likely. Like, you only do so many quests, the exact same quests over and over before this gets tedious, we can call it. But there's a lot of quests. I mean, a lot of quests. Even if you don't repeat the same quests over and over, there's still a lot of quests to do and a lot of areas to see. Like, if you look at the map, that map is massive. And the thing is, it's always alive. It's always moving. There's no server off time. You just fly in, fly out, and it's always moving. People are moving over in this quadrant. People are moving over in Tiger Bay. People are moving over at the Midnight Hotel. People are moving everywhere, whether it be NPCs or it be players. It's always a living, breathing thing, which is really cool to see. Because you can kind of go to any part. If you're having no fun in Tiger Bay because you're just getting owned by some kind of AI or there's another faction there that just kind of has it locked down, you can go to the whole other side of the map and have a good experience and have fun and have a good fights and etc. etc. It just really gives a lot of flexibility because it almost feels like a real life war with different front lines you can go to, different areas you can go to and have different pushes. Especially now that you can capture cobs and there's like an actual incentive to do that and kind of push your faction to maintain the control over the majority of La Ming. Can't recommend the game enough to most people that like milsim like games or want something that's similar to Tarkov but not as hard or as performance heavy as Tarkov. I definitely don't think it's an extraction shooter at this point. Obviously, they don't even call it an extraction shooter anymore. And I do think it's going to serve a different niche compared to Tarkov. I don't think it's going to be a one-for-one competitor. But for something that I play a lot, and I've had over 2,000 plus hours, I don't even keep track of it anymore, of Tarkov, I definitely can see myself putting another 1,000 or so into Red Zone Warfare. And that's still not even the full vision. According to the devs, we've only seen like 20% of what they have envisioned for the game. So with where we're at right now, we still have 80% more to go. Now that's probably going to take a few years to get there. It's a big project. I stayed on the ride for Tarkov, and I hope you stay on the ride with Zone Warfare. As always, my pack, I'll see you howling for the next one. And don't forget to leave a like or even comment how you think I'm an idiot, good looking, or whatever it could be about Gray Zone Warfare. And I'll see you howling for the next one.